So that Monster Hunter Wilds game is selling pretty well, hey? 8 million copies in the first 3 days, and we don't even really have that much of an update because this, came out on the 4th. We're heading into its second weekend, and while the game has been kind of a buggy disaster, I don't necessarily know if there's any patches that's out there so far, but people who've been able to either power through the unoptimized mess that it is have been having an exceptionally great time with it, okay? It's far more combat heavy, and it's a certain type of game that obviously has great appeal right now. I'm not trying to diminish that at all whatsoever. It's just not really my cup of tea. Hopefully it does well for the people, and obviously everyone's enjoying it, and hopefully, Capcom does do something about this, and then they end up learning from this situation that, while you're making millions, you could have made billions. But while this is one set of problems, there's another issue out there in the AAA space, especially when it comes to troubled releases. And, well, Capcom, they have their own problems, and some of it, actually, there's a little bit of crossover here because you have Ubisoft also recently releasing a game within the last 6 months or so. Okay, well, actually, it's a little bit longer than that when Star Wars Outlaws came out, and it was also a buggy disaster, one of which that still really hasn't even gotten properly patched because, we know that the stealth is buggy, so we're not actually going to fix it. We're just going to remove it from the game. Great stuff on that. But their next game that comes out that ended up getting delayed not once, not twice, in order to have a certain amount of polish presented on it. They don't want to run into the situation that, Monster Hunter has. Trust me, when it comes to selling that many copies, they won't have to worry about that problem. But they're also looking, definitely for that type of bottom line return because selling 8 million copies at like $80 or $90 a pop. Oh, that's Canadian, obviously, so that's like, $50 American? I'm joking. Sort of, kind of. But Ubisoft is definitely starved for profits, but this right here, really seems like they are trying to pick their remaining audience up by the ankles and shaking them of everything that they're worth because you could pay, $2,000 for a pre-order mission. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 2,000 euros. So, it's even worse. But that's obviously a glitch and something that we can very much look forward to because that's definitely what's going to be on the horizon. Because boy, is it quite interesting how Assassin's Creed continues to step in it because Shadows, every time they put out something, it just immediately gets ratioed into the ground because you have, another 18 seconds of gameplay, and frankly, we don't necessarily need any sound on this one because I think the visuals more than carry it on this one. So here you have Yasuke walking up to another temple, oh my god, about to commit just a little bit more chaos and inflict another atrocity upon another historical site, and there's just a Japanese guy trying to defend his place, and he gets put right through a door. How fantastic. But some of this animation, I mean, the fact that he's getting slashed and there is absolutely nothing going on right there, but it's just like really awful, pathetic. Oh, cool, he gets decapitated in his own home, or at least a place that he's charged with protecting. But that's gonna be fantastic. That really reminds me of Assassin's Creed, right? You can unlock the war kick ability, where you can go ahead and break into a Walgreens of your choice. And as you can see right here, very interesting. Very interesting how you have 1,500 replies. You got 13,000 likes, I guess, from whoever you paid for those. But you could also take a look at all of the hidden replies that are right there. But this is also something that's very interesting and something that has been quite consistent in regards to Assassin's Creed and their marketing department, because Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed have messed up again, making Japan mad once more. After all their research and respect for Japan, they ended up mocking a famous sacred guardian as a mere scarecrow. Because here we are once again, as somebody pointing out, the statue of Akita Prefecture's guardian deity, Kashima-sama, is treated just as a big scarecrow and ornament in a work set in the Kansai region. It's like they're not even doing their research anymore. Every time that's, something historically relevant is pointing out, like how you have a female Rikishi, that big fat chick that's out there. We talked about that nonsense, I think, with the art book leak from a little while back, but there's nothing that this game can do to survive this controversy. It's going to be such a disaster because just like Snow White that we talked about earlier in the day, now this is a game that has just broken through just simply outside of the online commentary sphere. Like, this is just more than a YouTube talking point. This has reached the broader gaming context, and this game is gonna be a disaster, so much so that it has spawned its own little subgenre, at least mocking the game has started its own little community. Unless, of course, you're going to Gaming Bible that try to says, okay, look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous, and the amount of cope that's out there. Because if you thought that the cope around Dragon Age the Veilguard was bad, which we just recently talked about more of that cope a couple of days ago, it's going to be full court this time around because Ubisoft, oh boy, they are definitely strong adherents of pushing the message. So yeah, for as insufferable as the couple of weeks after release of the Veilguard, you've seen all of those articles of the game's not bad, you're just a bigot. Oh, it's going to be like that hardcore. Oh, actually the game's really good. If you don't listen to the chuds, you should just go out there and buy it and support bad company. But this spin right here, this is another level. Now, we talked about this before, the Yasuke Simulator, which is absolutely hilarious. And then just pick up a gat and start blasting your way through Japan. It's like, see, you could do that crazy level of stylized violence if it's obviously parody, if it's obviously a joke. But apparently, no, that's not mocking Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's Steam drops a free download for Ghost of Tsushima style game. It's Ghost of Tsushima style. Right? Yeah, no, man, but like I said, it's like, this is Yasuke Simulator. We played the trailer before, and you can download and play a Ghost of Tsushima style game for free that looks oddly familiar somehow. Developed by Sucker Punch Production when Ghost of Tsushima... What are we talking... Ghost of Tsushima, huh? First released in 2020 on PlayStation 4. What are we doing, bro? But yeah, we got... Jesus, okay, yeah. It's, yeah, very, very Ghost of Tsushima style, because I remember my Ghost of Tsushima running around, you know, as a black samurai, knocking things over like this, swinging and decapitating the locals. Okay, that was something that you could do, but it was as a Jin Kazuma, and I don't remember, I definitely don't remember picking up an AK or a sniper rifle or hopping in a lowrider. Not something I necessarily remember, but I could have my mind and my reference points mixed up. But while we wait for the arrival of Ghost of Yote, oh boy, we can look forward to Ubisoft's next entry into the stealthy series, sadly not Splinter Cell, of Assassin's Creed Shadows later this month on March 20th. Similarly, because, you know, this absolute goof article is highlighting the demo for Yasuke Simulator that just came out, but the full game's release also comes out on March 20th. Boy, it's going to be a back-to-back day of fun with Shadows dropping on the 20th and then Snow White coming out on the 21st. It's going to be interesting. But while everybody's going to be mocking this game's release, apparently Ubisoft is only going to be listening to good and warranted criticism. I got another video that's going to be coming out on my birthday. Actually, birthday's on Sunday. Happy birthday to me. I'm going to be talking about another interview that was totally and completely taken out of context about, oh, how they're just sticking their head in the ground. They're just acting like ostriches. Okay, they're just going to be listening to ethical reviews, where you take a look at the rest of the article, and God, I hate some grifters that are out there. But hey, this is Ubisoft, and we know what they do, okay? They listen to their little echo chamber. They get their little sycophantic focus group together, and apparently they're going to be assembling the Yes Men very shortly. For Assassin's Creed Shadows, creative director says his team will listen to good and warranted criticism. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Jonathan Dumont, the creative director for Ubisoft's upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, recently shared that his team will listen to good and warranted criticism. YouTuber Genki Gamer, a good resource for a lot of information, by the way, reported that he conducted an interview during an Assassin's Creed showcase in Kyoto, Japan, and during the interview, he asked about the various controversies surrounding the game in Japan. He reported Dumont responded, he told me that the team are focused on the game. They're trying to listen to the Japanese fans, and if there is good and warranted criticism, they will try to take it in. But on the whole, they're mainly focused on delivering an outstanding game. Well, normally, okay, like in a vacuum, that's not a bad quote, okay? They're wholly focused and mainly focused on delivering an outstanding game. That would be great. But then again, you know, you got to place the context of reality on this one and realize that this is a guy working on Assassin's Creed that hasn't innovated at all since it did a big reboot, because they weren't innovating prior to their reboot. And if they were actually listening to good and warranted criticism, they would have either tightened up their historical references or made it completely and totally absurd in another direction if they wanted to stick with their, well, you know. He added, they said it was an honor to be visiting Japan at this time. So, okay, let me get this straight. And Genki Gamer, you know, shout out to him. You know, great Twitter account. Didn't realize that he had a YouTube channel or anything like that. But he gets to talk with the Assassin's Creed Shadow creative director, and he's 5,000. Like, what am I doing wrong? Oh, right, because I probably just meme my way through an entire interview, so yeah, that's probably why I don't get booked for any of this stuff. Anyways, a Genki Gamer also shared more details about the game, including how the game's main story is expected to take between 30 and 40 hours to complete. Oh, however, with various side quests and recruitment missions, the game will be up to 80 hours or more, which, yeah, now you don't really have to focus on one of the protagonists. You can just focus on the female shinobi, which is also a historical abomination, but hey, she's going to be better, I guess. That's all right. If you want to play as Yasuke and go, turn the place over like they just released the McRib, you can go ahead and do that, I suppose. Furthermore, he shared that Ubisoft is looking to implement a new Game Plus mode following the game's initial release. Remember when stuff like that? Remember when games used to come out feature complete? Even Ubisoft used to do that back in the day, but no, we'll eventually get around to it. Dumont's comments about listening to criticism are not surprising, given Assassin's Creed's executive producer, Marc-Alexis Cote, made it clear that the company was not interested in hearing complaints about the game being infected with DEI at the end of last year. And yeah, we talked about that when he was at the BAFTA Masterclass appearance. Yeah, in today's shifting cultural landscape, we face an additional and unforeseen challenge as discussions around our representation and inclusivity and media have become increasingly prominent. These conversations can influence how our games are perceived, but rather than shy away from those conversations, we should see them as an opportunity. Assassin's Creed has always been about exploring the full spectrum of human history, and by its very nature, that history is diverse. Staying true to history means embracing the richness of human perspectives without compromise. Exactly. That's why you compromise on history, to include your little pet DEI insert of Yasuke. Hey, he was totally a samurai, until you just crack open one textbook and realize that, no, he's not a samurai. He's just a surrendering goof. This is going to be the last game that Ubisoft ever puts out. Oh, well. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.